My mission is simple, to make you money. I'm here to level the playing field for all investors. There's always a bull market somewhere, and I promise to help you find it. Mad Money starts now.
Hey, I'm Cramer. Welcome to Mad Money. Welcome to Cramer America. Other people, my friends, just trying to make you some money. My job is not just to entertain you, but to educate and teach you. So call me at 1-800-743-CNBC or tweet me at Jim Cramer. Has big tech gotten too powerful? There's no denying that Facebook, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, Alphabet, and Tesla certainly rule this market. Even on a day like today, Dow slipped 266 points, S&P shed 0.51%, and the Nasdaq still managed to finish positive territory. Why? Because these kinds of companies were on fire. This morning on Squawk Box, Rick Reeder, he's a chief investment officer of global fixed income at BlackRock and a real smart and nice guy, said that Google and Microsoft might as well be countries because they make so much money. Countries. After those terrific quarters they reported last night, I got to agree. Although you could say the same thing, countries, about all the big tech names in the trillion-dollar club, and Facebook too, although it's $880 billion valuation because the stock's down means it's more of a third world country. But when you get that powerful, the politicians start gunning for you, right? I mean, we know that's what's happening. Right now, we have everything going wrong for these guys. The conventional wisdom says we're likely to see some bipartisan action in Congress to crack down on big tech on antitrust grounds. 2 weeks ago, a group of senators proposed a law that would prevent Amazon and Google from favoring their own products and services in search results. Bipartisan thrashing! Apple's been accused of steering business towards its own products on the App Store. Facebook's facing scrutiny from the FTC, on top of the endless parade of bad headlines about their safety practices or lack thereof. Only Microsoft and Tesla have gotten away with whatever they're doing without coming under serious fire, despite what often seems to be Elon Musk's best efforts. You know what, though? I think Washington's looking at these companies all wrong. Yes, they are powerful. No denying that. Yes, they should probably face more regulation. But I think we should be aiming to create clear rules for digital commerce rather than aiming to cut them off at the knees. In any other developed country, these companies would be treated as national champions, treasures even. After living through an era where the only thing America seemed to make right were toothpaste, deodorant, diapers, soda, movies, I'm actually proud that America dominates the tech industry. So I want to take Reader's comments one step further. Forget countries. These companies are empires. And for the most part, they're benevolent empires. Rather than trying to break them up into little pieces or prosecute them to death for growing too quickly, I think we should study them to figure out what makes them so special. And that's what we're going to do right now. Why don't we start with the two that reported last night, Microsoft and Alphabet, the artist formerly known as Google. Microsoft was the star of last night's show, delivering what I'd argue is actually the best quarter of any company in 2021. Everybody knows that Microsoft dominates Office software, but after that quarter, we know that the LinkedIn business has become the default way for professionals to find jobs in an era where COVID has transformed how companies hire. Then there's Azure, the cloud business. It wasn't that long ago that CEO Satya Nadella made the ridiculously bold claim to me that one day Microsoft would have an $18 billion in cloud service business. At the time, he was talking annually, but Microsoft did $20 billion last night. That's a phenomenal group of businesses. Throw in the fact that they got $130 billion in cash, I think the stock's worth every penny of its $2.4 trillion valuation. Someone asked on Twitter today why we aren't selling any Microsoft for the charitable trust, which, of course, you can follow by joining our brand new investment club. I'll answer that question with a question. Why? Why would we sell Microsoft? It's a monster, but one that's very friendly to shareholders, and it's already survived its showdown with the antitrust authorities 20-odd years ago. Why? Or how about Alphabet? Initially, Wall Street seemed disappointed because the cloud business was a little weaker than expected. Came in a couple $100 million short. But when you're a company with Alphabet, like Alphabet, with $136 billion in cash, well, that's barely a drop in the bucket. I couldn't believe the stock was down. I was like, oh, my God, stop selling, you idiots. Anyway, these guys own search thanks to Google. They own search. They own video with YouTube, which would be worth about $300 billion all by itself if you valued it like Netflix. Is Alphabet a monopoly? Hey, no. I mean, you could always use Bing for search. Even though I'm not that much of a masochist. Next is Apple. Don't think of it as a smartphone play like the analysts do. Apple's an operating system that helps you take control of your day-to-day life, whether you access it through your phone or your computer or your watch. They got everything: payments, entertainment, news, sports, games, healthcare. Just like Google, nobody's putting a gun to your head with making a stick with Apple. Hey, you can always buy a Samsung. It's just that Apple's got the best product, the best ecosystem. I suspect they'll report a good quarter, and if there are any problems, it'll only be because they couldn't get enough components to meet demand. Apple had $166 billion of cash in marketable securities the last time that country reported. They'll figure it out. Tesla's easy. There are many other companies that want a piece of the electric vehicle business, but Tesla dominates it because they've got superior technology, superior design, and superior state of mind. I remember when Japan and Germany owned the luxury car market, so I'm not shedding any tears now that American companies taking share and even opening its own plant in Berlin. Feels good to buy a luxury car from a business that wasn't on the wrong side of World War II, doesn't it? Then there's Facebook. It's tough to tell what space it dominates. I mean, the catch-all term social media has dogged Facebook since its inception. I think of it as a repository of thoughts, experiences, events, and amusements, currently in 2 dimensions, but soon in 3 dimensions, which we'll hear and see about at their metaverse event tomorrow. Of course, some of those thoughts and experiences are horrifying, and Facebook needs to do more to prevent its users from inciting violence. But in the end, it's a way for everyone to tell their story. And like Google's search business, it can help sell a huge number of goods for small and medium-sized enterprises. Facebook's accumulated a $58 billion war chest. I think they'll spend a major chunk of that on the metaverse. Again, more on that tomorrow. I think it'll blow you away. Finally, let's not forget about Amazon, please, which dominates online retail by giving you the lowest prices on the best goods with the fastest shipping times. On the cloud infrastructure side, they're number 1, Microsoft second, Google third. Are they a monopolist? I honestly don't care. I don't. Wake me up when someone else can do it better. So now let's put it all together. Microsoft is the kingpin of the operating system backed by the cloud. Apple's the empire of the smartphone with all its attendant services. Facebook's the repository of your identity. Tesla's the best technology delivery system that you can drive. Amazon's the online wall backed by cloud infrastructure, and Alphabet is all things search. Now, these companies have all created incredible products that we can't live without, with the exception of Tesla, although once you drive what you want it. They are gargantuan businesses that are, for the most part, loved and respected by the most important people, their customers. They've replaced Coca-Cola, Procter & Gamble, and even Hollywood as American icons. The bottom line, you want to hate big tech for being too powerful? Go right ahead. But I think it's insane that our government's targeting them. America's finally good at making something again. We should be helping these companies take over the world, not kneecapping them. And even if you despise big tech, you have to admit these companies have created more wealth than any other enterprises in the history of this great nation.
Don't miss a second of Mad Money. Follow @Jim Cramer on Twitter. Have a question? Tweet Cramer. #MadTweets. Send Jim an email to madmoney@cnbc.com or give us a call at 1-800-743-CNBC. Miss something? Head to madmoney.cnbc.com.
Shepard Smith here. Thanks for watching CNBC on YouTube.